We are recording and we are ready to go because this will hands down be the best training that you will watch for those that have been struggling to lose weight, whether that you want to lose weight now or if you've tried in the past year, 2 years, so on and so forth, right? Because we're going to get to the bottleneck of everything. We're pretty much going to cut out all of the noise and we're just going to get down to what works and what has been working for years and years and years on end. So this is your valuable training here on how my clients are losing around 10 pounds within 30 days. So for those that don't know, I am currently hosting my Winter Warrior Challenge, my very first 60-day challenge. We are a little more than halfway done, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone's progress once this whole thing is fully complete. But we are about halfway done, and that's why that I'm making this training is more or less of like a case study, right? Because I've had a couple people that have lost anywhere between of like 8 to 12 pounds roughly. 10 pounds, that's a good universal number. That is, and that is where I'm going to teach you on how you can do it on your own. And I'm going to say this little beginning spiel for those that don't know who I am and might be hearing me speak for the very first time. My name is Collin, and I am the owner of my own company, Strong for Life Coaching. I've been coaching for about 5 years now. I've been in and out of corporate gyms for like 3 years, and now I'm going to be coming up to a year and a half now that is being on my own. And it's one of those things where I've worked in corporate gyms in the past that I have. Obviously, there's franchise rules and everything else. And I just didn't jive with the way that they did things. So then that's when I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm going to go on my own and we're going to see on what I can do with this. And it's been nothing but fantastic of being able to do the methods and everything my way as far as what I know that has worked being in the industry now for coming up almost 12 years. That is not only as far as knowledge goes for those that do care. I am a certified trainer through NASM that I am. I have accredited certifications for nutrition and also corrective exercise. So it's like physical therapy is a little brother, practically, that it is. So not only with the knowledge as far as what I've learned throughout these coming up 12 years, but the experience is definitely the most important part of that is. So this is what you guys are going to get throughout this training. It's 12 years of knowledge that you are within like a 30-minute span that it is. And this is going to be nice so that way that you don't have to try to do the trial and error on your own. And this is something to where if you do care and this is something that you do want to take serious, I would recommend that if you do have it with you, whether it's paper and pen, take notes. This will be later on coming up as far as what we are going to be discussing. So let's get into the good stuff. So this is going to be like the deliverable, right? This is on what you are going to end up walking away with by the end of this video is knowing that fitness is more simple than what you're thinking. Even a first grader can do it. Trust me, this is very true. How thinking long-term will then get you more results versus thinking short-term. This is going to be like the instant gratification side of things, right? That is, so long-term thinking versus short-term thinking. And I'm going to go over why short-term thinking is actually holding you back, which coincides to this third and final point, right? On why fad diets are doing you more harm than good. So for those that know what fad diets are, whether it's like keto, Atkins, paleo, South Beach, and all of that, right? We are going to cover that later on within this training that we will. And I'm sure that if you are on the other side of the screen, you have been through a fad diet that you have of some sort. I know I have in the past when I first started out. And it's just this roller coaster of up, down, and up and down. But what we want is we want consistent up that we do as far as making progress, right? So I don't want it to where when you're done watching this video to where you follow on what I say that you do, and then you do good, and then you fall off. Good, fall off, rinse and then repeat, right? I want it to where you are consistently going up and making progress over the long term here. So as far as the other person that is watching this video, here are some potential challenges that you could be facing at this moment. First one, going into the gym blind, metaphorically speaking, as far as that goes, right? So what I mean by that is this, is when you walk into the gym, you more or less don't have a game plan, right? You're just kind of going through the motions and you're kind of doing as far as what feels good. You don't have any structure as far as what you need to be working on personally. You might have watched a couple YouTube videos and then thought to yourself, all right, I will give this a shot. We'll see if this works or not. And then you leave thinking of like, okay, did I actually get anything productive done? The second thing that you might be going through, overcomplicating on what to eat. So the internet, it is a good tool, but it is also a very bad tool that it can be, but that's only if you use it as bad, right? So I'm sure that you have research of like best foods to burn body fat. What are the best protein sources to eat? Should I do low carb, low fat, high fat, right? And then you get all of this information that you do. But then once you're done looking up all of that information, you have like this over analysis paralysis, right? You're sitting there, you are overwhelmed, and then you just don't know where to begin, right? Because you're here and then you created all of these different options as far as where to go. but you don't know which option to take, which then leaves you with uncertainty. And that's the reason why that most people can't take action from the very beginning, is because they overload all of their options that they do, and then they're left of like, okay, do I go left, center, or right? And then the final thing, feeling like that you're doing this on your own. And let's be real, with the way that our society is now, crazy to say that it's 2024, being healthy is like being the underdog, right? So meaning of like, how do I word it? Because all of these points, if you resonate with this is not how I felt when I first started when I was 15 that I was. It's feeling like that you're doing this all on your own. People don't understand why that you're doing it in the very first place. People are going to think that you're wasting your time and all of this stuff, blah, 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 right? And I'm sure that, for those who are married, whether husband, wife, etc., boyfriend, girlfriend, and all that, in like relationships, you might be getting the support that you need, or you might not, as far as that goes. And the same thing from your circle of friends, right? You might be telling your friends, or you might be telling other people like, hey, like, really wanted to take this serious and really wanted to start to get into the gym. And then they kind of like brush it off. And then it's like, why though? But let me tell you right now, I know on what you are going through. Okay. And if you can get over these barriers and all of these blocks here, as far as that goes, you can make a transformation like this. Obviously not me specifically, but this is just my own personal transformation. So that photo that's on the left, that is literally that wall that is right behind me. That was pretty much my very first progress picture. So this was after I was done doing home workout programs. So I did Insanity, P90X, and then it was Insanity Asylum. And it was like one of those things of like a fad kind of thing, right? Like creating the convenience of working out from home. The calories weren't high. When I was 15 there, I was only eating about 1,200 calories that it was. So before doing home workout programs, I was 165. And then I got myself to 125. So back then, my mentality and my relationship with fitness and also food as a whole obviously wasn't the very best, because I was thinking of like, damn, like I'm shredded. Like I feel good. You know what I mean? And then after a certain portion of time, then I realized I'm like, okay, like something is actually not right, because I feel overly fatigued. I have no energy that I do. My mood is cranky. List could go on and on, right? And then this was my very first bodybuilding competition that it was, which is crazy to think, coming up from this July, it'll already be 2 years that it'll be. That was the Chicago Pro that it was. Very first show that it was. I took 10 years to actually build the confidence of like feeling of like, okay, I'm ready to step on stage that I am. And I have my trophy and all my medals over there for the first place. It was 4 first places, a second place overall winner for classic division novice, and then overall best poser that it was. I had to think of all the different things in the back of my head. Right now I am getting ready for a powerlifting meet that I am, which is going to be September 15th. So I'm definitely looking forward to that, because it's been 4 years since I competed. So I'm feeling good though, but I'm feeling good with it. So aside from just having this be a whole video of me now, I just kind of just wanted to just relay and just kind of fill in the gap a little bit as far as of like where I started and where fitness has taken me personally. And obviously everyone is going to have their own journey, but this is one of those things to where of like, I knew sometime down the road that this would be a career. And this is one of those things to where of like, it would be a disservice on my part personally, that if I had all of this information and I was just holding it to myself and not giving value and being able to give back, because there was no one there to help me out from the very beginning. So I figured all of this shit out on my own. So now this is my way for those that feel like that are doing it on their own to then be able to give back on my part here as far as that goes. So this is like my case study kind of stuff as far as that goes, right? So from the very beginning on how some of my clients are losing anywhere between 8 to 12 pounds. Once again, 10 is like the median number, right? So I have a couple of my clients here. So my boy Steve, that was actually one of my dad's good friends that it was. He commented on one of my recent Facebook posts that I made 2 days ago that it was. And it was good to hear from him that he's down 12 pounds in 31 days. That it is. And he actually used to be a coach himself. He was big on keto that he was before working with me. But then we actually introduced carbs and now he's down weight that he is. So remember this, carbs are good for you only in the right amounts that it is. And then on the very right here, that is my boy Joel Fry that it is. So Joel, he's oh my gosh, union worker that he is. I know if I'm wrong, I'm so sorry, Joel, but I remember, I think if you said steel mill, that is. Anyways, he works pretty long hours. I remember it was like either 6 to 2 or 6 to 3 that it was. And the main primary thing that we did with him to get him down 12 pounds within this duration here is cut back on pop and just revamp portions. That's literally all that we did. He's still eating carbs and everything else, and that's the one thing that I'm going to talk about in a little bit too, as well, to where of like, you're like your eating doesn't have to be 100% strict, and why that can actually hold you back as far as that goes. And then I have Taylor, and then I have Amanda's here as far as further weight loss graphs. This is on my training app that it is. So Taylor, she works with Amazon. She does a third party like delivery service as far as that goes. So really busy schedule and everything else. And then Amanda, I know that she does her own crafting as like a side hustle that she does. I've worked with her at my old job that I have too as well. And it was crazy for the time that I was at with her at my old job. So I used to be a boot camp coach that I used to. It was cool to see her lose 100 pounds that it was. And then we're going to keep going and going and going. So this is just me showing you of like, hey, like I'm just not talking out of my ass. Like these are actually real human beings that are actually implementing what I am doing and are actually getting results with it. And now this is to where I feel confident that I could share it with you, because obviously if it wasn't working, well, you wouldn't even be seeing this video and you wouldn't be dedicating time out of your day to learn on how to lose weight. Specifically though, body fat. That's what we want to go for. That'll be later on. That it will. So hopefully that you are getting value so far as from this. Now we are going to get into as far as what you want to learn on how you can successfully lose 10 pounds in 30 days, just like my people here are doing themselves too. Okay, so this is gonna be one of those things to where I'm more of a hands-on person when I teach, right? As far as that goes. So obviously there's no text underneath. This is here, but I'm gonna end up backing out that I am. And then this is where I'm going to start typing as far as that goes. Okay, so in order for you to lose 10 pounds in 30 days, okay, so we need to think mathematically, right? As far as what that can average out to. 30 days, pretty much in a calendar month. There's about 4 weeks in a month on most occasions that there is. Sometimes there might be 5. Anyways, 4 weeks, you would end up needing to lose about 2.5 pounds a week. But a good relative number, you know, from the very gate is like 1 to 2 of like a healthy range, right? But 2.5, that's what would need to be like the median number as far as that goes. Now, we need to figure out on how we are going to actually do this, okay? So it isn't going to be fad diets, and it isn't going to be spending countless hours in the gym, and it isn't going to be doing all this vigorous crap that most of you guys have probably seen on the internet that all of these quote-unquote gurus are doing, that they are as far as that goes, okay? So this is on as far as on what is going to be like the main variables, okay? I call this, me personally, the SAM method that I do. You'll see. Sustainability, okay? We are going to dive into that more in a little bit, okay? Accountability. That is variable number 2. Mindset. Those are literally the only 3 variables. Obviously, that's the very surface level of it, but then we are going to dive into more as far as like the in-depth. So I guess I could call it like peeling the layers of an onion. So we have surface level here. These are the only 3 variables that you need. Find things that are sustainable for you to follow. Have someone hold you to that sustainability. And then the mindset. That's going to be a little bit different than it will. That's going to be as far as what I talked about from the very beginning of like playing long-term versus short-term as far as that goes, right? So it's more or less of switching your perspective about fitness that it is. And that's something where I'll give my personal take on it, because that's what I had to do for myself personally when I was first starting out with this whole fitness game. So let's talk sustainability, okay? What if I were to tell you that if you wanted to get good results, you know, on a very minimal level, that you can spend only 90 minutes in the gym throughout a week? I'm pausing. Reason as why that I'm pausing is because you're probably thinking of like, I only need 90 minutes a week that I do. Yeah, that's what I have some of these people doing here that I do. So for example, Joel, we were at 3 days, but we increased his frequency to 4 because he's able to handle it more than he is. But it's one of those things where of like, the more that you get in and out, the more time that you have to do other things in your life as far as that goes. So what would sound better to you, right? Would you rather spend 90 minutes 5 days out of a week in the gym? Or would you rather spend 30 minutes 3 days out of a week, 90 minutes throughout your week in the gym? Me personally, I don't know about you, but I like the other option too, especially for me and my lifestyle, you know. So when I was younger, you know, I always thought of like the more time that you spend in the gym, the more results that you create. And then as I matured and then as I learned more information, it's actually backwards that it is. So it's actually not about how much time that you spend in the gym. It's what you do with your time in the gym as far as that goes, right? So this would be something to where of like, per se, like one of the variables of fitness. So like working out, right? So let's say the other side of the screen, you're sitting there and you're like, you know what? Yeah, I could do 3 days out of a week, 30 minutes that I could, boom, in and out, in and out. Okay. So this is something to where of like I do for clients that I work with as far as on how I lay everything out, right? So 30 minutes, okay, by 3 days a week. Okay. So this is the sustainability factor, right? It's thinking to yourself of like, what can you actually realistically stick with, right? And obviously, this is going to be variable dependent per person. So someone who works from home, they have a little more leeway that they do as far as that goes, right? Someone who is constantly on the go that they are, they work very vigorous hours as far as for their job. Then they have kids and then a spouse that they do, making dinner and all that stuff, right? This would work a lot better for them, okay? Now, 30 minutes, 3 days out of a week. This goes back into as far as now we're going to take away as far as walking into the gym blind. So, you're thinking there, and then you're like, maybe I'll work on a little bit of back. Maybe I'll work on a little bit of chest or something like that. You know what I mean? The best split, I'll actually give you two. This first one is more of a beginner. The second one is going to be more of an intermediate that it'll be. So, day one would be a push workout. So I'll even put in here chest, shoulders, triceps. Okay. That would be one of your first days. Then let's do day two. Whoops, apologies. Day two would be a pull workout. Okay. That would be back and biceps. Cool. We got that. And then day three, I know that some people don't like doing it, but I love doing it, lower body. So that would be your quads, hamstrings, and that booty, the glutes. So you would hit all of those muscle groups throughout a week, and your frequency would be once a week. This would be a good beginner split as far as like getting foundations down that it would be, as far as that goes. And something that'll help with your muscle recovery that it will, because that's coinciding as far as with the 30 days, or no, sorry, not 30 days, 30 minutes of 3 days per week, right? Is the less time that you spend in the gym, then you are going to then be able to spend more time actually recovering said muscle group. It's one of those things to where of like, once again, tying back to where people think that more volume, doing more in the gym equals more progress that it does. It honestly is just going to mean it's going to take you longer to then regroup. And then that's why people burn out, is they burn out because they end up doing so much from the very beginning to where like their body can't keep up. And that's why that, tying back as far as of like FAD diets and everything else, people are trying to do so much from the very beginning to where like you have to learn how to go from 0 to 10 and then 10 to 20, 20 to 30, so on and then so forth. So this would be like a good basic beginner, right? But if someone is more intermediate watching this, right? As far as that goes, maybe you've been working out, I don't know, let's say 2 years, right? Something like that. Day one could be an upper body workout, right? Then your second day could be a lower body. And then your final day out of a week, you could do a full body. And keep in mind too, this would be something that would be good of like, if you went and worked out like per se on like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule, or even like a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday schedule, because you want to give yourself time to regroup versus just going ballistic of like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then doing nothing throughout the rest of your week. You want to get a good pattern and then like a good frequency as far as that goes, right? And then the more experience that you build, then you can add on to this and then get a little more specific. But this is a very good beginner / intermediate like kind of training split. Okay. Now, talking about that, now I have to talk about the non-sexy stuff that people don't want to hear as far as with another portion of the whole sustainability factor, right? Is nutrition. Okay. But let's talk a little deeper into that. It doesn't have to be to where you are eating like a bodybuilder, right? So you're eating constantly egg whites, plain chicken, plain rice, veggies 24/7, right? Because it's one of those things where of like you have to think about it like this, of like this given plan that I'm doing, can I stick with this for only 3 months or can I stick with this for 3 years? You want to be able to answer I get sick with this for 3 years, no problem at all whatsoever, right? But once again, the nutrition, this is like the main gigantic pillar of it all that it is, okay? It's like the foundation of a house. This has to be your foundation for your own house, you know? So if you are not fueling your body correctly, then obviously progress isn't going to be the way that you want your progress to go. But follow me here because, you know, once again, I've been doing this for quite a bit of time. A good rule of thumb when it comes to your sustainability factor, as far as this goes, follow what's called the 80-20 rule. Okay. So, meaning this 80% of food equals good sources. So, good sources, I'll label it by macronutrients. So, macronutrients, for those that do not know, those are your carbohydrate sources, protein sources, and then your fat sources as far as that goes, right? So good carb sources could be anything of like red potatoes, jasmine rice, fruit, raw honey, things of that given nature. Protein, these first two can count as like a 2-in-1. Eggs and salmon count as both protein and fat. And then some of your red meats too as well. So whether it's like a ribeye or like a New York strip steak that it is, chicken thighs, you know, things of that given nature. Chicken breast would just be fully protein because there's barely any fat, maybe like 1 or 2 grams. And then good fat sources are like grass-fed butter, that they are olive oil, beef tallow, things of that given nature too as well, right? So the foods that I named off, you're thinking to yourself of like, oh, those aren't bad at all. Like doesn't have to be like plain fish or anything else as far as that goes, right? It doesn't need to be, because then, you know, once again, like you have to think to yourself too of like, if I eat this food, is this something that I can eat for a very long time and not get sick of as far as that goes? But then also to add to this, as far as that goes, 20% of food, whatever you want, literally whatever you want, go crazy with it. I'll give you a great example. Before Christmas time, there's this like organic food market. It's called Sunrise. That is, it's probably about 25 minutes away from my house. I found these better ingredient Oreos that I did. I loved Oreos as a kid, that I did as far as that goes. I used to literally take 2 Oreos. I would take the top off and then I would make my own double stuff. And then there were even the peanut butter ones that there were. And I even used to do the same thing with those when I was a kid. But then I found these healthier Oreos, you know, just more of like organic ingredients and like less ingredients as far as that goes. And I ate 2/3 of the box that I did as far as that goes. Yes, you were hearing me say that I ate 2/3 of a box of Oreos that I did. And I'm not going to lie, I was very happy with it. Not going to lie, I definitely will not. But here's the thing though, that's only every now and then. Obviously, if I was eating like that every single day, there would be a problem here as far as that goes, right? But that's the one thing, is like that helps me keep my overall nutrition sustainable as far as that goes, right? That it does. So meaning that I'm not just constantly eating 100% strict. Obviously, if anyone is competing in a bodybuilding competition or anything like that, like what I did, I have done it before. So I can speak on the best of both worlds here as far as that goes. So with that 80-20 rule, obviously we need to figure out on how much that you need to be eating. So I'm going to give you a couple steps here. Step 1, macro calculator. You need to find a macro calculator. The one that I recommend using that I do, here I'll do a dash, is healthyeater.com, or you can type in Google healthy eater macro calculator. And I like that one that I do is because you know, if you're trying to figure out how many meals that you need to be eating throughout your given day as far as that goes too, is when you're done putting in all the basic information and then on like how much that you want to lose as far as like percentage wise, it'll give you your calorie total and then your macronutrient total, but then it'll also then break it down as far as of like what meals or sorry, of like on how many meals that you will be eating throughout a given day, right? So you'll get all of that figured out. I wish that I could put the link, but I don't want to get out of this slide just in case if anything goes off. So if you do watch this video, and if you do want the link, send me a message as far as that goes too then, okay? So now step 2. What to eat. So basically, in other words, of like, what's the eating regimen going to look like then as far as that goes? So you have all of your numbers, right? So, you know, once again, like peeling the layers of like an onion as far as that goes. We have the service level that we do. We know how much that we will be consuming roughly throughout our given day. Now we need to figure out what to eat. Okay. So now I just want to just make it look pretty nice. Awesome. This is where I'm going to help you out a lot. If you are watching this video and if you need help figuring out what to eat and what not to eat, I have my own nutrition guide. Message me for that too as well on my Instagram. Yeah, because I'll have like the link for everything on there. Message my Instagram, ask me for this guide, and I will be more than happy to give this to you. It is going to save you a lot of trouble. There is years and years of information in there that covers the basics of eating that it does. I have a whole food bank in there too as well, and a bunch of other information going over macros, calories, micronutrients, supplement recommendations, things of that given nature. I do want to tie into supplements too really quick. That is not your foundation. That is like this tiny bit of the whole pyramid. So you have nutrition, training that you do, supplements. It is literally just a catalyst. It is just like a little bit of a shortcut. But if you don't have your foundation set, supplements, that ain't going to do shit. It isn't going to do a single damn thing as far as that goes. And then the third and final step, because let's be real, all of this sounds easier said than done, right? Final step, stick with it. That's literally it. Just stick with it. Find things that you can stick with and just keep doing it over and over and over once again as far as that goes, right? Another thing with, obviously, another question that I get asked, there was a little hiccup there. Excuse me for one moment. I get asked, Collin, how much cardio should I do? I have some people that are doing my challenge right now that are not doing cardio and they're losing that much weight that they are. I literally just have them just being in the gym and in between like a 30, 45-minute duration for their workouts that I do. Have them sticking with things that they can eat and they are losing weight. Cardio, it should not be a foundation. It should just be used as a tool in order to increase your calorie expenditure. So meaning on how many calories that you burn. These should be your foundations here. If you literally do these things as far as that goes, you will make progress way quicker than what you are thinking as far as that goes, okay? So hopefully that I covered a lot of good stuff there. Now, let's talk accountability. Because this is one of those things where when I was younger and when I was starting out, I personally wish that I had right by my side that I did. Because let's be real as far as that goes, right? When you know that you are not doing something on your own, you are going to hold yourself to a higher standard that you will as far as that goes, right? That's just the name of the game. So I'll give you a great example, right? So I have an older brother, for those that don't know. His New Year's resolution is like his goal for each day is to do 50 push-ups per day. So if I don't see him do them, I will ask him, have you done your push-ups? And I'll like harp on him a little bit, but that's my job that it is. And I'll be like, have you done your push-ups? He'll either say yes or no. And then if he says no, then I'll ask him, what time are you going to do them? When are you going to be back? Are you going to do all 50? And then on his first day, I even told him, I was like, let me see you do them. So it isn't one of those things of like me being like that overly aggressive teacher that everyone hated in school, but it's me knowing of like that's going to make him better than it is. So you want to be able to find people that you do as far as knowing that they are going to make you better. So you have a couple options, right? Okay. So option one, find a workout partner. I will tell you, a workout partner, awesome. My coach, Brandon Beckridge, him and I, we were working out together for, oh my gosh, about 2 years almost that it was. And then we ended up splitting that we did because Brandon does bodybuilding and with me doing powerlifting that we do as far as that goes. Obviously, they're two different sectors of fitness that they are. So we did have to split our ways as far as that goes. But let me tell you, Brandon, my coach, hands down the best training partner that I've ever had in my entire life. Because it's one of those things to where of like, let's be real. Not every day of going to the gym is sunshine and rainbows that it is. But knowing that there's someone else there waiting for you and counting on you and wanting better for you, that is going to be like your cheat code as far as that goes. It is such a game changer. So if you can find someone that is on the same wavelength as you or like similar, ask them, hey, I'm doing this. I want to do this. Are you cool with us working out together? If not, no worries at all. If you cannot do that, then second option, you can hire a coach. And this isn't me doing a shameless plug of like, oh my God, yeah, work with me, please, as far as that goes. There's people that want to work with other people. I'm totally fine with that. I get it. Everyone has their own different cup of tea. I run things different, but I keep it overall transparent that I do. But if you can hire a coach as far as for that accountability, so a good example is my cousin Jason. I've been working with him on and off for 2 years that I have. And he works long hours as far as things of that nature. He does real estate and everything else. And he's literally told me of like, if I didn't have this accountability and if I didn't have this on my schedule of like me after work meeting you here to get a workout in, I wouldn't be coming here. That is. So it's knowing of like that expectation, right? Of like knowing of like, I'm going to be there waiting for him, pushing him because I know that that's going to better him. Not like that, that's going to be like his stress reliever for his whole entire day, right? Then if you don't have access to that, I'm telling you right now, Facebook groups, there's a ton on there. You can type in so many things of like fitness accountability or just fitness, gym, workout. And I'm sure that you could find so many freaking Facebook groups too as well. I know that I'm a part of a couple that I am of like different Facebook groups as far as of like, I like to chime in and give advice or even help hold people to their standard, things of that nature too as well. I would say that those are like the top three as far as, you know, for that accountability. Now, keep in mind, there are some people in there to where like that are watching this video that they can lock in and do it all on their own. If you can, props to you. But if there are some people that know that they would do better knowing of having that support behind their back, these are going to be your top three here. Now, the final thing. Let's talk mindset. Let's talk mindset. This is something where I talk about a lot because it's very important in my opinion of being in the industry for, you know, 12 years plus as far as that goes, or coming up 12 years plus, sorry. This is something to where I feel like it's undervalued. A lot of people talk about physical only. And, you know, keep in mind, you know, I'm going to call myself out here. Is that's the reason why that I personally started that I did. You know, I wanted to get bigger. I wanted to bulk. I want to have bigger arms, bigger abs. I wanted girls to notice me. I'm just being fully transparent here that I am. But then I realized all of like, once I started to get bigger than I did, and then I was like, all right, cool. What's next? Why should I keep going? And then that's when I started to do it for more of like mental that I did. So not only of like mental, you know, everyone talks about mental toughness and all of that stuff. And I feel like it's like overused that is, but you know, just building mental strength that it is, you know, stress, you know, helping use as a stress reliever as far as that going and just seeing of just the big thing for me personally is just seeing what I'm capable of. Right. And that's the one thing of like, if you end up doing it for more mental benefits, then your physical is then going to follow. So that's one of those things of like the 80-20 rule, you know, that I talked about with food. It's the same thing here too. 80-20 that it is, you know, so 80% mental, 20% physical that is. That's a word that your, I guess, percentage frame should be here. That it should be versus 20%, you know, mental and then 80% physical. It should be 80 mental, 20 physical. I felt like I said that quite a bit, but you get my point though, as far as that goes, right? That's should be your biggest takeaway as far as, you know, seeing out what you're capable of what kind of shape can you actually get in, you know, versus just going in, you know, just to get bigger arms or lean out, you know, that you should have a higher purpose. So in other words, of like, why are you actually going? Of like, why? That's like the big thing that I want you to take away with, why? Is if you're just going in, you know, just to get better looking abs or develop your back or just get better looking legs and all of that, I'm sorry, but you won't last. That you won't. And the reason as to why is because it's not a strong enough why. That is, you know, so for example, another thing that I do, this is something that I do whenever I talk to people all the freaking time. Let's say, you know, let's talk about this right here, right? Of like lose 10 pounds, right? That's the goal, okay? Lose 10 pounds. All right, cool. Don't get me wrong, fantastic goal. Why do you want to lose it though? Maybe it could be something as far as of like, I just want to feel better when I go and put on a dress for women or put on jeans for my dudes that are watching this out there. Or maybe I want to feel more energy than I do. And then you keep peeling that layer. And then it's like, okay, why do you want to fit better in a dress? Why do you want to fit better in jeans? Why do you want more energy? You know, do you have kids that are wanting to play with you that they are, you know, like when you get done with work or if they get done with school or the jeans or the dress that you used to wear, right? Was that something that you used to wear when you went out for dinners or dates or anything else, right? So that's where I'm kind of going with it, right? So you need to keep peeling to where like when you do have those days that you don't feel like going, that is going to be the thing that you look back on. And even if you write it on a Post-it or on a piece of paper to where you could see it every single day. So whether you hang it up on your door, put it on a work desk, a mirror in your house, I don't care on whatever you do, whatever that you got to do, go ahead and freaking do it as far as that goes. So that's everything that I wanted to cover in this training with you. If you are still watching this video, thank you so much for, you know, sticking around. I did, talk quite a bit as far as that goes. But when you will eliminate everything, right? So like once again with the food, it is a lot easier than what you are thinking. So meaning that you don't have to follow all of these crash diets that you do. So once again, the keto, Atkins, paleo, and South Beach, right? Because that's tying back to what I talked about, like long-term versus short-term, like asking yourself of like this plan in front of me, can I stick with for 3 months or 3 years? And that's the reason why that people fall off is because they only think, that they can stick with something for short-term. It's because they set up their plan for short-term. So when that plan is done, then they go back to old habits to then go back to square one to then follow another short-term plan, which is then going to get them short-term progress, only to then go back to old habits and then fall off. So it's one of those things where you want to build everything from the very beginning, foundational wise, and then keep going up and never fall off once again. All those variables, it's literally just as simple as that. So once again, thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this video and to endure all of this time with me. I have no idea on how long this video is, to be honest. But if this is something that you want help with as far as getting foundations and everything set up as far as that goes, underneath the video, there is my call calendar that there is. If this is something to where of like, you're thinking to yourself, I could see myself working with this guy. He's talked a lot. He's talked a lot of sense that he has. Everything that he's, discussed makes sense. Go ahead and get your call booked, and I can help you build kind of like a roadmap that I can, So pretty much how I lay out my calls is, kind of see on where you're at right now and then where you want to be later on. And then I come in to fill in the gap throughout the bridge, right? So let's say that you're walking on a bridge. This is like the metaphor that I use. You're at the very beginning of the bridge in the middle isn't built, and then your progress and your results that you want are on the very end of the bridge. I'm the constructor. I help build the steps on the bridge in order for you to walk through in order to get to the other side. So if this is something that you would like to do, you are more than welcome to book a call below. And then from there, if you have any questions too as well, you are more than welcome to message me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I wish that they could do Messenger on YouTube because I am also on YouTube too as well. But anyways, the best forms of way of contact are going to be my Instagram and Facebook if you have any questions or need help with anything else. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you soon.